you know, I'm thinking about those overall points. I mean, who's to say someone can't pull a big 80 or, you know, plus point game essentially, and all of a sudden be in this conversation for the top 10? It really is very realistic. This point spread, I feel like, has been relatively even across the board, and it's gonna make for a pretty tough top 5.
Yeah, I kind of thinking about it. Obviously, you think about the win, kind of 1,000 points, and any other competition at 65. But even a second place, 10 elims, get you that 80 points that you were talking about. I know it's a rough road getting there, but with a lot of change-ups happening, uncontested Utopia this time around, with Reed Cooper and Curly qualifying out of Flooded Frogs, that opens up another drop spot on the map. And already after game 1, 1 team moved over. Game 2, Kappa Kappa, 2 teams moved over. So it only can imagine here with Flooded Frogs, a great POI opened up. Who's going to try to take that chance?
I'm actually surprised though that Utopia is uncontested. You know, typically teams will just stick at the drop spot when they've decided that they're going to contest it. Obviously this format is a little bit more forgiving, given that, you know, someone can make a different call, but you know, a lot of times ego gets in the way of smart decision making. So respect to that team for backing off. And hey, Caliper's team is playing very, very well. They are deserving of Utopia City so far, as they've been the victors of the drop. Jumping in with Lulu Minka in all in God's hands, though. Back to the shiny shafts. This is what I talk about, ego, right? Kind of blocking the bigger picture here. They're just fighting this one out game after game.
Yeah, and already you can kind of see one elimination on the back of Snake. They're not necessarily going straight in. They're just trying to loot up. If they find him, they find him. If they don't, they don't. Apple's there on the side, all in God's hands, just try to go for a quick spray, realizing the rest of the team is now converging on their location. He tries to back up, but too little, too late. They're all there. They're trying to jump on. He with Mathematics getting damaged just a little bit. It's just not enough. 3v1, make it 2v1 as he gets at least one knockback, but not able to clean up the elimination. They go down without a point.
Maximum pain being issued there. Nice little pickup for them. Quick finish to the shiny fight as well. Back on over to Cam, Osid, and Soneto. Talk about a clutch, man. Losing their teammate so early in the game, running it up as a duo, but Sid really going the distance at the end there just to keep them super relevant and at the top of the consistency page. So this is excellent Fortnite for them. Very deserving of their finals position to come here. But just got to close out strong now.
Just interesting decision here from Metro, Stupid, and Civ to kind of contest resistance space. It's a great drop, but honestly, I would say go for it. But you're going against a team that's already proved that they have the hot hand. They have 189 points, so they almost have nothing to lose here in this situation, even if they're able to pick up 2 eliminations and then go down shortly after. But Soneto just going on alert, feeling brave. Full duo is going to be right above him. Fires that shot. That's his position going known, but he quickly tries to disengage on out. The whole team is trying to chase him down, realizing this might be the only chance to catch him off guard.
You see someone else kind of lurking on the outskirts here, so looking to play that surprise factor. Sid takes the air here. Bubba doesn't even want to shoot. Not just yet. Got options to pick from here. I'm gonna wait for the perfect timing. There it is. Shots coming from behind. It's gonna be onto Civ. Cam gets bailed out for a moment there, and probably gonna be pretty okay with this turnout here.
It's unfortunate because now they were trying to push Osid's team, but they're stuck in the middle between 2 different ones. You see they have no choice but to try to go right back into resistance base, try to farm up, not necessarily be the team that's poking out over the top. And you see Sebi rotating over. Labubu's inside as well. Everybody here lurking around, but Sebi just got spotted out. Metro's there. That's a lot of information, even if it's only one player being spotted out.
Big tag there off to Sebi. Traded shots though onto Bubba there on the other side of the wall. Bubba, great job though. Finds himself a little elimination here. The knock comes through. Sif goes his teammate off to the side though. Things gonna slow down now. Sid's trio still debating on returning back to this action stuff. This doesn't end fast. It's gonna be really bad for what's remaining of the teams here. I'm surprised they didn't actually finish the fight there. Definitely a little bit of a slow play by them. Probably going to be regretting it here shortly.
Yeah, Civs just took a lot of damage, even with the revive onto Metro. Jim trying to just take that top-down approach. Sid gets caught off guard yet again, and so does he. Sebi's in there into the mix. They trade shots back and forth. Another one's going to go down. That's Sebi picking up another elimination. He needs the Siphon to come through, get that HP back up. The Booba's just taking some extra time, farming up that loot. Never knows what's on the other side of that wall, but Sinetto, Cam, and Osid, they've just went all the way around in a full circle to try to hunt down the players they were originally hunting them.
Yeah, likely just stopped, got some minis, picked up some materials, said, all right, we're headed back now. Let's go ahead and do what we got to do here. Secure a qual spot, get these big elimination points here. Sid, though, gave away his drop right there. That little kind of climbing action there, I think, gave the sound effects away.
Yeah, I sure hope so, because it doesn't
Here
look like
comes
they...
the opener. Oh, the missed tag, though, but Code gets caught up there in the box and fully finished, and this is all the advantage in their favor now. What a pickup, too. Finds the player with the dash sprite, so now it's going to be a major, major advantage for them now. As if having a man up wasn't enough, Cam finds Bubba there, too.
That's 2 straight knocks, and you see everybody else in the minimap dispersing in different directions. They at least want a chance to get the reboot card back, and that means staying alive. And yes, I did see this in the feed. Peterbot is already down and out. Edgy was able to clean up that elimination. They work together. They get cold as well. The pressure is on Ritual to try to survive. He's in a 1v3 situation, using the misform, trying to reposition down below. But Edgy's quick on the chase, and they have the Superman sprite. They're going to melt through these builds, not giving Ritual any time to heal in this situation. His chances there. The bait and switch. They're making sure to keep constant pressure, not even give him a single second to pop the mini. And as soon as he pops the med miss smoke, he can't even utilize it.
Edgy hunting right now. Ritual misforms his way through the side. Can he find an opportunity to go ahead and reset here is the question. Dashes are going to come out, but it doesn't look very good. Moments away now from disaster, though. No time to heal either. Shots have to come through. He doesn't even land the one that he needs, and he's forced to miss. That is interesting. The one counter to the misform is basically someone with triple dashes, right? It kind of moves faster, traverses more distance in a shorter amount of time, and this is it. So, hey, we talked about Edgy, Duke, and Chance want to earn it. They're going to have to fight time and time again, and respect to Chance's trio for making it happen.
Yeah, and they really, and when I say really, all caps, underline, bold letters, they really have to make this game count, because how many times they're going to get the opportunity when you're clashing with one of the best, you're getting hunted around the map, and you're able to take him out. Peterbot did not see this one coming. Full trio in a push. That one's easiest, and you know as well as I do, he typically has all of the good loot, so getting him down first was taking down one of the harder players. You're able to steal away resources and a lot of utility.
I love that because, like, even if you could, you know, generally predict the direction a team's in, when you know someone's hunting for you and you just wait it out, that's just like, you know, the hunter gets hunted. So you gotta respect it, like, all across the board, read like a book, and more can you say. This is a tough situation to be in, though. You didn't even have time to celebrate before Tyler, Herb, and Josh show up. And not only are they a team that have shown up, they've been playing very good on the day. 159 points here, so Edgy losing his shield here. It's going to give them even more confident, and they already have the confidence.
And some HP as well throughout it all. They continue to trade shots, though. Back and forth, back and forth. Chance seemingly the only full health player on this team, so he's kind of taken the lion's share of that focus, just trying to fire back when he can, spray out some of those builds, get control. On the other side, you see Edgy and them build some extra space for them to work with. That way, if they do break through the first layer, they have a whole nother one they can back up into. Up until a point right now where Josh, Curve, and Tyler, I'm not going to say they got bored by any means, but now that the dust is settled, the zone continues to move towards the north, they're just going to continue to focus on their rotations.
This was nice, you know, get into a little scrap, get a couple damage hits off, and kind of let things simmer, play for the new zone, pick things up later. Sid, Sinetto, and Cam, though, continuing to keep the action going for themselves. They just don't stop. There it is. Couple elims away from surely being fully solidified to finals. Sinetto, Cam, and Sid really showing us that they are deserving of a finals position and standout team here in the Group 3 setting.
Oh. I was saying, ran out of dashes right there, Sonetto. Yeah. Just kind of gets cut just there for a moment, but his teammates were able to kind of stop the runaway train. That is Kezi, and able to get the knock and the elimination. Siphon's going to help a little bit for Sonetto. Plenty of minis, bigs there as well, and to kind of just add to the fact about how well they're actually playing. Look at what they're going through. I know we haven't seen them off spawn every single game so far, but this is nothing new. They've been contested not just by one, but multiple teams in and around that POI, and for them to be as good as they have been playing, unfortunate couple mistakes there, but even then, look at that. They're able to get good damage back to alleviate the pressure Sonetto was just going through.
Nice little pushback here. Good defensive measures. Plasmafy has to get back that mid miss though. Try and cap off here. See, Sonetto can have the pressure of the zone too, so it's going to be important to kind of reset right now. See what they can make happen. There goes the dashes for the team. Plasmafy's trio earns the respect of Sonetto. They're like, all right, we're pushing our luck here, maybe. Go ahead and ease out, play for some material right now, and also, I was going to say, maybe they hit that A rank, but not quite.
Still just got a little bit more to go. That B rank's going to be enough to open up a couple more of these chests on the outskirts of the north side of the resistance base, and the zone's kind of pulling all the way over here as well. So you got to imagine the team that was brave enough to try their luck at the Flooded Frogs with Reed Cooper Curley qualifying for the grand finals, opening up that as a drop spot, and whoever did Monster, they got that luck of the pull, the zone going in their favor. Sonetto, Osid, Cam, they had enough of the contested fights all on the north side of the map. They're just trying to take a slower approach to this mid-game portion. With how much damage they've had, they got to think that they're pretty high up on that Storm Surge leaderboard.
Super important to be there, especially as we start getting into these last games here. Phenom Yusuf. King Peace just trying to hold form here.
Trying to think all of the natural mobility that spawns around here. Sometimes there's a bunker with a rift that you can grab. There's a launch pad just a little bit in front of them towards Foxy, so they don't have to utilize all their dashes or some of those misforms, but it does come with its own brisk flying through the sky. Any teams that are going to be nearby, Plasmafy, Arsenic, and Bluish, rotating just underneath that island. Even though you don't see any teams currently up there, you got to imagine the scraps that could be left behind. Seeing as Arsenic does have bandages in his loadout, you might want to switch those out for a med miss smoke, med kit, or particularly a chug jug if you can find one.
Yeah, definitely a lot to be desired here, but look at that. It's going to leave the lasers behind in favor for the big shield. Look at this Civs team coming right in from the zone. Bluish might have caught wind. Yeah, he's going to actually spot him going into the bush there, and that might just kick things off for Civ. Right now we got a little update with Aaron kind of going back and forth here with Fredbot against another team on the mountain. It's Regrets Crazy X Halakar.
Yeah, 153 points. This is kind of something that we spoke about yesterday. I'm interested to see how the rest of this game plays out for them, but they just need a top 10, a top 8. They'll be within that point range for the top 5. Inconsistency, especially with one more game left after this. But how do you handle the pressure? We saw some teams throughout, not just yesterday, but Group 1 as well, kind of switch up their strategy, play a little bit slower than what got them to that point. And that's why I want to see Fredbot, Aaron, Caliper kind of close out the game strong, continue to build that confidence, especially if you get into that point range threshold where you almost have nothing to lose.
Trades happening here as we start approaching the mid game. This is just outside that Supernova Academy. Smiley visual saw I am enough. Trying to fish for tags right now. No success just yet. Zest team doing a good job keeping a low profile. There's actually multiple trios there, kind of in the spider's web. Meanwhile, Edgy and everyone else just moving through the brutal boxcars. Other teams starting to move in as well, as the zone's kind of favoring this southern area just a bit right now.
This is a good chance, like I said, when they took down Peterbot and the entire trio to kind of make something of this game. You don't even have to necessarily win it, but you got to put yourself in contention where you're not forcing yourself in a game 5, winning your end, the only way to make the Major 3 Grand Finals through this group stage. Because you don't want to have to play through that LCQ where only 3 teams, a win in your end. There's no leaderboard to play to in that last chance qualifier, so you want to make sure to close out every opportunity here. Neko, Zabi, and Fishy, them two have been going through a world of trouble up until this point. A few more speed bumps in their road to this point in the game. And I was talking about the experience, 12 different finals appearances through the different tournaments this season, and so far they just haven't been able to execute on what they've learned. So
good execution right here from Ruby's trio. Dead center right now, big tower, plenty of options to choose from. He should be well in ahead as the surge kind of activates here. 786. Yep, very telling of a team that's got a position like this currently set up.
It's just unfortunate. Kind of get caught off guard, delays down. Hadi's already eliminated. KSM just gets sent back to the lobby with the rest of his team, and that's one team right there, Monster, that's going to have to be in a win and you're in situation going into game 5, but at least they have one more chance, and sometimes all you need is that one chance overall, especially if another team kind of qualifies here in this game, alleviating the pressure at the bottom side of that consistency leaderboard.
Yeah, game 1 showed this, right? Like, anything can happen in the end game. Teams can definitely squeeze out victor royales. Against all odds, it's not going to be easy. Watch this. This is a surge battle if I've ever seen one, as trios just start to collapse inwards on the edge of the zone. Well, at least one thing's for certain, no other third parties are going to be joining here, so they'll just have time to get into some clean fights here. Unfortunate for Batman Banks' team there to actually lose his duo when they just did enough to kind of alleviate themselves from the pressure. And then they fall under the threshold as well, so it wasn't like they really had to rush to it, right? Like, we're at that point in the tournament where things are just moving a lot quicker.
Perfect time to rotate over there. So Jace kind of make that rotation early on. He kind of started off this fight and basically pulled apart 2 different trios throughout this whole situation. With or without Roja, I think they kind of made the perfect play there. And with the zone moving away, I know they probably want to play this one out as a duo, Monster. It's brutal boxcars. It's not too far, but they could chance it if they do have the heals to try to go north.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they're thinking that. I mean, the markers were out on the map, so we'll see. End up making a play right now. Gary Angel aim red. Southern zone pool right now. All the way just on the outskirts of the brutal here. Between the Lone Wolf Slayer. That was lobby focus. Look at that. Yeah, angles of which all the fires coming in. North, south, east, west.
And sometimes, even though like Gary has the DMR, he's not going to do a ton of damage in that spray. As long as you start the lobby spray, even if you don't get the elimination, that's one less player. That's one less team in your path to cross that finish line. Down below, Edgy, Chance, their full trio, just not taking too many risks. They've kind of already did that while taking down Peterbot earlier in this game. So they're just trying to fly under the radar, move and go after eliminations when you have to. Cowper, Fred, Aaron, they're just going to stagger themselves back just a little bit to tick into zone 4 now, but they're definitely going to be on the clock. You don't want to get caught in that 5 tick, knowing there's just a massive pool across the map. They do have that med miss smoke that I do think they're going to try to utilize here right before they try to miss their way out.
I'm thinking. Trying to figure out the game plan right now. I know they want a med miss, but this team in front of them, they're pretty much putting a big target on their back right now. But they are in the storm here. There goes the focus shots coming in.
Yeah, that green cloud, the med miss smoke, it's also a huge sign of weakness. Even if you have shields, you might think they're low HP. Edge of zone, you got to get forced back further and further. Soneto Cam posted, continue on this freight train of a journey that they've had on the day. 210 points. top of the leaderboard in terms of consistency, always finding these opportunities as Happy gets tagged up, not once but twice. The knock comes to fruition, and he fires off yet again to clean up both of those eliminations. And that's going to bring their total here to 9, almost reaching that double-digit mark, with still more than half of the team still left in the lobby.
And you know what? Some upgrades there as well. Look, Dash has come out of that. Saw a little med miss there for a moment, so some pretty big pickups on the outskirts and the backside of the lone wolf player. Keep in mind that's natural elevation as well, so they're working their way top down right now. They're not going to have any problems to kind of situate up for a potential high ground now with that refresh there, so could be all she wrote. I mean, they definitely have enough points now. They are going to finals. They want to win the game now and give others a chance. It's pretty much up for grabs here.
136. You're kind of seeing like the difference of how players are handling the storm surge, where they're above or below, barely above. 136, even though that can flip at the drop of a hat. They're staying confident, looking towards the backside of the zone where everybody's stacked up, continue to fire shots. They're going up a little bit, falling down, but they're making sure kind of never really fall below the damage threshold. Just Caliper trying to alleviate some of that pressure as Fredbot Aaron trying to heal up, but Fredbot's not going to get that chance. He's going to get taken down. That's Curve. That's Josh and Tyler on the other side of those builds. Just continuing to not only steal away control, but steal away as much of that positioning on the other side as possible.
Yeah, very good edits there by Caliber, but they cannot make any risky moves right now. They are too close to the finish line here to drop it now. After this, we will be jumping into the last game of the evening. Looking from the top down, Edgy's trio completely isolated, somewhat center. They're gonna have the longest of the rotates here to come. Curve, Tyler, and Josh make an early move here on the outside. Aaron and Caliper, big decisions to make now. Do they use... and I'm assuming Aaron's last misform here, or go with the dash. It seems like they want to dash their way through and kind of reserve what's left of the last misform there.
Yeah, typically if it's the last one, you kind of want to save it as a get out of jail free card. Hope to not get boxed up. 12 above, that's not going to stop the pain from coming your way. As Dox goes down, Jay and Chris are still there. They barely get themselves above the damage threshold, forcing a sacrifice on not one, but both of their teammates to make sure Chris has a chance at survival. Two teams went down before he did, so at least he got that many placement points before getting sent back to the lobby. The pain all around the lobby can still be felt. The Sonetto's already down. Osid popping out his last bit of resource with the med miss smoke going down. Cam is there behind him, but the full team in front is going to cut them short.
Who's got high ground though? NPen. Zen. Ooh. Nut. Just, you know, watching from up above. And if there's a time to win, what better time than when Peterbot's trio's not in this endgame, who are obviously that X factor to anyone's situation here. They're set up. Not a lot of builds, but they're here.
Yeah, 51 points, barring like a high elimination game in second place. They're almost in a back-to-back win and you're in to try to get that global, or just a grand finals spot secured. 51 points, 192. You see all the investment they had in the materials to try to hold on to that position. And they're going to continue to invest. They think there's not too many teams in the lobby that they have to worry about contesting their high ground.
I think it's now or never for them. They're at only 50-something points, right? It's really not that much, and it's either that or chance make another full end game. But look at this, Tyler, Curve, and Josh, they want to put a ribbon on this night as well. They're starting to eye up that high ground, and if you're playing high, you got to know to start targeting those secondary layers. Do not let them get comfortable like this. So it might come down to being inexperienced here, but we'll see. I see Edgy knocked in a feed there too, so big names starting to fall now. You know, Yusuf King Peace trying to kind of gather their situation, but they're running low on material. Aaron Fred Calipper is kind of gathering more and more information here. Now they're at the 180 point threshold mark. This is big. Big team jumps into their box. Caliper's left by himself, just trying to inch out a top 10 here.
Yeah, he has to wait for that cooldown on that misform in order to use it again. As Death, he's going to get dropped, sales, and encrypted, forced to change away from those layers. Only dash out when they have to try to grab the materials. And positioning in sort of the front side of zone is Zabi, Neko, Fishy are on a roll here in the fourth game of the day. Better late than never, but it's actually NPen. NPen goes down. They ran out of materials, forced to drop down low, and are getting dismantled one by one by one.
Yeah, it looked like Zen trying to play a miss there in the zone. He's going to also fall now to the rest of the zone there, and what could have been a big chance opportunity for them to win a game kind of slips through their fingertips. But look at Calipper go. 1 HP, falls inside the top 10. Way to clutch one out for himself. Meanwhile, Yusuf doing the same for his team. 147 here. He should have actually shot the gun right there and got the potential siphon, but misses his chance to do so. Now look at this, another med miss. Deep in the storm play here, focusing the high ground team, breaking them off the height, forcing them to start using their misforms. Cyclops dashes on in. This is their chance to go on and go for height, but they don't really have a lot of mats to work with here.
No, they don't. They don't really have a lot of mobility either, as Josh is going to get a knock onto one, gets the elimination, siphon just in time to try to keep him healthy. Him and Curve are going to continue to use those builds, a little bit of mats to try to maintain their position above. Angel, Gary, Aimred are just trying to dominate down below. They have all the position on the low ground, front side of zone, but there's a team behind them trying to heal off. That's Cynics, that's Polar, that's Sir, and that could be a distraction that they're ready to take as they chop down high ground and go all out, ready to challenge for it. Tyler drops down, doesn't take too much damage. Nobody really contesting from up above. Even with the shot right there onto Tyler to drop the shield down, he's not showing any fear.
Just doesn't get worse for Josh, Curve, and Tyler. They're the other team literally focusing them, forcing them once again to defend their high ground position. Now it's all up to Josh to go back up and kind of reinforce this. The zone's gonna bounce back. The low ground team starts to finally make a move. Curve takes some fall damage, but the misform keeps him alive just for a moment there. 40 HP left there. He can't mess with the zone. Low ground team thinking about going for a pickup here. 3's better than none. They're gonna go ahead and commit to it. This might be the biggest mistake though. They have let Josh full re-heal here. Now the high ground team is back in this one.
And there's still a solo. He left long ago, started his heal off journey. Josh gets a nice shot onto one, but unable to get the siphon. Curve still alive. 240 on the Chug, and he's ready to ride the zone all the way to the finish. A risk that he's ready to take. The Superman Sprite breaks down high ground for a moment. That's Aimred all the way back. He's much further than I thought, but the elimination circ, that's siphon. That's an extra HP for Curve. Cynics needs to go for this elimination onto Curve. He is a huge disadvantage when it comes to the heals, but Curve is making sure to create distance yet again. Use the medallion, the speed. He gets the elimination onto Cynics. He doesn't know where Aimred is at. He started his heal off long ago, and it's not going to matter. Curve, Tyler, and Josh have qualified for the Major 3 finals, and Monster,
How
they
the
just
fuck
alleviated the
him
pressure. They
lift
opened
that
up a
9
spot
names
at the bottom of the leaderboard.
For it to come down to the siphon to give him the amplifier to get that extra HP. Dude, I had no idea Aimred was so deep in the storm there. It would have still came down to a misform. You saw Curve kind of cycling through his builds there. Pressure kicking in. He's like, wait a second, how is this game not over yet? What is going on? That was an incredible endgame. And so deserving, Jacob. Tyler, Josh, and Curve successfully retook high ground from Zen's trio and M-Pen there, but also defended against 2 and then fought in a clean 3v3 on a low ground. What a game.
Yeah, that was definitely just one of those that goes down in the record books as a thing to remember for Josh, Tyler, and Curve. And you've seen how far away Aimred was, but he just started his heal off way too early, left down to just bandages. Curve is able to clutch up and even still had more left in the tank. They're headed to the grand final. Zeke, 1 game left. What do you got for us?
Holy, oh my, Aimred, what? That was crazy. I love that this is Shadow's old Tyler. So we got to see Shadow compete yesterday, right? And now they pick up Josh and they pick up a victory out in like the craziest way we've seen so far. I'm still just shocked at like the hoops they had to jump through there at the end. And then, you know, just put yourself in the players' shoes there for a moment. They're like, okay, this other guy was just eliminated. It's a 1v1. Who else is left, bro? It's just me. I've got misform. Where are you? And then, of course, we're to come down to those final few moments. They have the Chug Jug. They're good to go. That means they're moving on to the grand finals. This has just got to be an amazing feeling for this trio.
Yeah, especially like you said, it coming down to the heel off, and in those moments when it is like a 1v1, you see that there's one more player left. You just don't understand exactly where they are on the map. What kind of heals do they have? Obviously, so many players have been eliminated on the low ground. Maybe they found some med kits. But Curve, Tyler, Josh, we heard Jacob talking about it, just how well they played the high ground, even after it was taken away from them, reclaiming it, and then playing the low ground really well when there was just so much action going on. I mean, Curve, Tyler, and Josh, this isn't their first FNCS, although for Josh, this is just his second FNCS finals. So big props to this trio right here, really showing up.
I mean, Josh did an incredible job as well, right? We saw him hand over the meds over to Curve, right? So they knew that we're going to play the heal off in the hands of Curve, and Josh did such a good job of dropping down and making sure the trio was taking some damage down below. So that way the heal off would kind of come in from Curve. But yeah, Curve deserves some insane recognition for that as well, right? Making sure he did damage to every part of that trio that was on the low ground, right? And then instantly recognizing when to stop popping those chug jugs, because he saw that the siphon heal started to come in to maximize the heal off. Very, very heads up play for him right there. Super, super clean game.
Those little tech things, right? That's what we like to see. That's like that skill level, the self-expression of Fortnite that you get to see in those moments and moments, so well executed. Guys, a single game left to go. After this break, we take one last ride before we prepare ourselves for the grand finals next week. I don't even know what time's going. We'll see you right after this break. Don't go anywhere. Don't do it.